What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff London. This is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, where we are intolerant of weak-minded attitudes that keep people from pursuing new and exciting things in the areas of fitness, outdoors, and general lifestyle. Episode 57 was supposed to be a Dall sheep hunt. I talked to Harrison Gotchling from Fairbanks about his Dall sheep hunt. He had a crazy story about thinking that his Dall sheep hunt was about over because there were other hunters around and then making a stalk and then finally getting the animal. So it was an awesome podcast, but the recording on my side was all messed up. I recorded through Zencaster, and for some reason the connection on my side was messed up. So rather than try to go back and edit it and manipulate and redo, it's just I want to keep things as fresh and as raw as possible. So I'm going to have to record that one, which is too bad. It's a great story, but I'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll get the recording done this weekend. So that'll be a great story coming up. Dall sheep in the interior of Alaska. I'm going to talk about my Labor Day. Went down to Colorado, so we're going to do a little fly fishing in Colorado, a little escape thing here, because it's about adventure every once in a while. So went down to Colorado to meet up with my girlfriend. The idea was we were going to head to some place in Colorado that wasn't going to be totally inundated with people that were out for Labor Day weekend. And so she said that the Gilpin Lake in the Zirkle Wilderness was cool, but not so cool that it's going to be completely awash with vacationers. So she picked me up from the airport. It was about 3.5 hours or so from Denver to Steamboat Springs. Then from Steamboat Springs, it's about a 40-minute drive to the trailhead to Gilpin Lake, which is trail number 1161. The hike was beautiful. It's such a different terrain than Southeast Alaska, where Southeast Alaska, everything is just, there's trees everywhere. And so it's hard to kind of get an idea of where you are. And if you are on the trail and you're in the woods, you can't see up and out of it at all. So it's hard to tell where you're at, how much further you have to go, or get any sort of bearings, which can make it difficult if it's cloudy or foggy, or even if it's not, if you get lost. You can't see where you're at. If you're not on the trail, it can be really difficult to see what's going on. So it was cool to be hiking and at all times to have a view of these mountains that have been carved out and ruined by snow, and just really beautiful. There was some areas that looked unbelievably elky, like there could just be elk walking around in there, and mule deer, and other areas that kind of looked like there was great moose territory. I guess there's moose and elk in that area, but we heard rumors of 2 elk. Not sure what they were, but when we were leaving after camping one night, we talked to a guy and he said, look out for elk. So we thought, oh, great, I'd love to see one. But the trail gets a good amount of traffic, and there's a lot of people who bring dogs up there. And so, unless it's early morning, I think the chances of actually seeing an elk would be pretty minimal, except for maybe long distances away. But there's just a lot of traffic on the trail. So I headed up to Gilpin Lake. Wasn't too bad. I think it was about 14 feet in elevation, or 1,400 feet. Yeah, it's a little different, 14 feet and 1,400 feet. Going up to the lake, it was it's about a 10-mile loop, and so we figured that going up when you get to the lake, that's about 5 miles, and it took us a little over 2 hours to get to that point. We set up camp. You can't camp within a quarter mile of the lake, which is nice to kind of keep it somewhat pristine, and you don't have people that are just taking some of the nice flat spots by the lake. So you have to kind of find some spots up on these bluffs that are flat. So it rises pretty steeply out of this. But there's some flat spots for some tents. Not everybody adhered to the quarter-mile camping rule, but everybody was at least respectful distance away. So we set up camp and set up a hammock. It was a great vistas just all over the place, and some nice trees to put a hammock in. So we relaxed there. And when the evening started, I of course researched about some fly fishing. That was my idea of catching a Rocky Mountain cutthroat or some brook trout, in the Rocky Mountains. That's just definitely on the list. So I was going to try to knock that out on this trip, and then Abby also fishes, and so we're looking forward to do some fly fishing. And went by the fly shop in Steamboat. There's more than one. It was Steamboat Fly Fishers, I think was the name there. I just blanked on it. Picked up about $20-$30 in flies, elk hair caddis, small Adams flies, Griffith's gnats in the 18 to 22 range, small hoppers, bead-headed buggers, things like that. Something with a little flash too. I guess the bead-headed ones are a little bit better. There's a little bit more weight to sink it down. So we went down to the side of the lake and we were going to fish, and I forgot the flies. Bought the new ones. I had some other ones that I'd brought with me from Alaska, and I forgot the flies in the car.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
I was sure that the fly box was in my pack because I'd seen it in there at some point. It had not been after I'd taken it out, but I knew at some point it was in there. And I just did a quick check in the car and I didn't see it, so I figured I must have put it in there. So we get up to camp. It's starting to become evening. Fish are starting to just pop on the water. And we just sat there and ate our mountain houses and watched the fish because I forgot the flies. Which there could be a silver lining in it, maybe that that happens. It's no big deal. It happens. It happens, but it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. Abby said that she thought it was cute, maybe because maybe I was distracted. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I totally just boned that whole operation there with not bringing the flies. So anyway, there was no fishing. No fishing was happening there. We saw a couple people that were fishing more in the early afternoon, but it was the evening. Man, there were just fish everywhere. A lot of them were pretty small. We're talking 5-6 inches. I'm sure there were some bigger ones that were prowling in there, but a lot of the ones that were coming up on the surface, even the enthusiastic ones that were leaving the water, they were pretty small. The sipped sort of takes maybe looked a little bit bigger, but I didn't see anything. It was 12 to 14 inches, but still it would have been great to at least fish had I not ruined that. So in the morning we woke up. It was pretty chilly, but not too cold. I guess in this time of year, once September starts, you can have some evenings that are down pretty close to freezing or upper 30s, low 40s. But it was in the mid 40s overnight, and then in the 70s during the day. So it was really nice. Not too hot during the hikes, so it was good. As we were leaving, you come up out of the bowl to do the backside of the Gold Creek loop. So you go up the Gilpin Lake, and then you go up over this saddle that puts you down this valley, and then you loop all the way back around. So you could go back down the Gilpin Lake Trail too. But we miscalculated a little bit. The loop, the halfway point of the loop isn't when you get to the lake. It's when you get past the lake and up to a saddle that then takes you down the backside of the saddle is the Gold Creek Trail, which I guess it makes absolute sense. But we just, I guess, didn't think of it at the time. So the way back down took a long time. I thought, man, we should be really close there. I'd never really looked at the trail part on the Gold Creek side, but it was beautiful. But I hadn't gauged the distance, or I figured it was about the half point getting to the lake when it was up over the saddle, which makes a lot of sense. So it was 5.7 miles from the trailhead all the way to the saddle. And since we'd probably stopped maybe 3/4 of a mile, or it takes about that once you get from the far side of the lake and you're going up the switchbacks, it's probably pretty close to maybe 3/4 of a mile. So going down the backside was pretty. Took a lot longer than we would have thought, but it was awesome. There were some really good open valleys, a little bit more open than the Gilpin Lake side. And that's where there were reports of elk, and it looks just like unbelievably great elk country. It almost looks like it could be, some of the Brooks Range stuff that you see, or almost some tundra type area of Alaska. So it's just a really, really cool terrain. Sit there, and again, there's a lot of people around, so there's people to say hi to on the trip. If you're looking for solitude, might not be the one for you, but the trail is well marked and the trail is nice and packed down. So that was the Gilpin Lake adventure over the weekend. It was a long trip, but or short trip. Felt like a long trip. Did a lot of stuff in that amount of time, so that was great. Once we hiked out of there, went down to Idaho Springs, and stayed there. Took in some Idaho Springs, some food there. They got some cool spots to eat and to walk around. So that is it. That's the story. That's how things went down. A little Gilpin Lake adventure. If you're in the Colorado area, I think it'd be definitely something to check out. I'm not sure if it's going to be huge. Trout fishing destination. There's a lot of people there, again, as I said, but only 1 or 2 people who are fly fishing. So can't give you a big fishing report, of course, because I didn't do any fishing there. But Gilpin Lake, man, it's a great hike, good loop, good place to camp. I think I'd definitely camp rather than just do it all in a day. But just make sure that you bring your flies and your fly rod if you're going to go. So we'll call that episode 57. Again, I'll get the re-record of the Doll Sheep sometime this week and get that up next week, and we will talk to you next time. Make sure you check out the Mediocre Alaskan for content. Got stuff in the Juneau Empire every other week, so make sure you take a read about that, or in that Alaska Sporting Journal stuff in there. And then in the fall issue of the Drake magazine, one of my favorite fly fishing magazines, if not my favorite fly fishing magazines. It's kind of cool to write for that. I'll have an article in there, which is pretty cool. Had a couple in there before, but if you're getting after it, and it's nice to have those successes. So check that out for sure, and that'll do it. We'll talk to you next time.